We have breaking news on the kidnapping of journalist Savannah Guthrie's mother. The Today Show host released a new video on Instagram just moments ago, as today marks 2 weeks since her mother, Nancy, was abducted. Here's what she said.
I wanted to come on, and it's been 2 weeks since our mom was taken, and I just wanted to come on and say that we still have hope, and we still believe. And I wanted to say to whoever has her or knows where she is that it's never too late. And you're not lost or alone. And it is never too late to do the right thing. And we are here. And we believe. And we believe in the essential goodness of every human being. And it's never too late.
And joining us on the phone from Tucson, Arizona, is Mark Santia, MS Now reporter. Mark, thank you for joining us. I want to get, of course, your reaction, your reflection to Savannah Guthrie's latest video, but also the FBI has, of course, put out a statement today about gloves that were picked up. What can you tell us about where we are now that we're 2 weeks into her abduction?
Antonia, we are across the street from Nancy Guthrie's home. There is a sheriff's deputy parked in the driveway. Sheriff's deputy has been parked in the driveway for 2 weeks now. That video coming out just a short time ago in Savannah's plea to the kidnapper, directly to the kidnapper. This, as the FBI told us today, that they have found several pieces of evidence, Antonia, throughout the area here in Tucson, including 16 gloves. Now, most of the gloves, they said, belonged to searchers, law enforcement. There was one glove, though, in particular, that was found about 2 miles away from where we're standing right now, which is Nancy Guthrie's home. That glove was sent to the lab, the Sheriff's Department lab in Florida. What they recognized and realized is that that glove was different from the 16 other gloves. There was some DNA there that didn't match the searchers, didn't match law enforcement. So they want a closer look at that glove. Right now, law enforcement sources tell us that's a very good lead. It's a very strong lead. Depending on what comes back, though, from the DNA analysis, that could be substantial. What they're looking for, according to law enforcement sources, is they're going to look for any forensics, any DNA possibly, from Nancy Guthrie on that glove, or any forensics, anything found from her home that could tie that glove to her home from 2 weeks ago. We're also told that glove the appearance of that glove, Antonia, is very close, very similar to that surveillance video. The suspect who was on Nancy Guthrie's front porch. That suspect had 2 pairs of gloves. The FBI says it was a man around 5 feet 9 inches tall, medium build. He was wearing 2 pairs of gloves. One of the gloves that was found by searchers, by law enforcement, resembles that glove. They want a close look. And again, they said the DNA, it raised a flag. It didn't match to some of the searchers. They want a closer look. They're going to look at that DNA, see if there's any matches. If that it could possibly be the suspect. They also want to see if Nancy Guthrie's DNA is on there. So we're starting to see some movement here. 2 weeks after her kidnapping, we're beginning to see, we've seen some search warrants that were executed at different homes. People were detained. People have been talked to. There are no arrests at this time. 2 weeks after her disappearance, her kidnapping, no arrests and no signs of Nancy Guthrie. A new video from Savannah, another plea, this time not only to the public, but to the kidnapper himself, saying there's still time to do the right thing. Antonia?
Mark, I'm wondering if you can give us a sense of what the environment is like in the neighborhood where you are right now. You said you're across the street?
Yeah, we're across the street, Antonia. It's a subdivision, but again, some of the difficulty is just the geography of Tucson. It's a desert. You have a lot of brush, a lot of rocks. These homes aren't necessarily right next to each other. There's a lot of space in between these homes. There's a lot of brush in between the homes, cacti. So it's a difficult terrain, very hilly. There are ravines. It was rained the other night, rained steady the other night. We're told it only rains about 10 times here in Tucson. We were here for one of them, and it was a steady rain. So obviously the elements can play a large part in the evidence gathering portion of this investigation. But we've seen, Antonia, teams of federal agents from the FBI, Border Patrol, as well as the sheriff's deputies out on foot, canvassing the area, especially sort of the entrances, the exits to Nancy Guthrie's home, to the subdivision here, looking for anything. And we know they found 16 gloves. They found, we're told from law enforcement sources, other articles of clothing, many of those being looked at. They're being looked at and analyzed at the Pima County Sheriff's Department's lab. That lab is located in Florida, and the sheriff says he wanted everything sort of staying consistent. They have all the markers there, meaning they have all of the markers. They have the base, the family members who have been to Nancy Guthrie's house. They have any workers who have been here. They have several DNA samples, and they are able to match those up. So everything's going down to Florida, as well as this glove that was tested that sort of, it did pique their interest. We should know, Antonia, it usually takes around 24 hours for results to come back at the Quantico lab, where the FBI has their lab. So we should hopefully hear some results. But this is sort of the area here. And at this point, there are dozens of media outlets here on the street. Many people sort of came and they gathered in front of Nancy Guthrie's home upon Savannah releasing this latest message on social media. So there are a few people who are gathered here. That's been 2 weeks, Antonia, and still no signs of Nancy Guthrie.
Mark, Elise Jordan here. This high-profile case, it's so tragic, and we love Savannah so much. And the story has just gotten so much media and law enforcement attention, but also there's been so many social media detectives who have come out and weighed in on this investigation. Is this helping or hurting, or is it impacting the investigation that there has been, so much social media investigation too?
Elise, that's a really, really important point. And it's something that we've been talking to investigators about because there's so much attention. Now, there was a public plea, right? I was speaking to a detective today who's handled other high-profile cases. And the detective says when you go to the public, you need the public's help. It's a force multiplier. It's cops and communities sort of working together. And we've seen the importance of the public. But they also caution and said sometimes some of the tips that come in or some of the things that are said, but we've seen that, especially in this case, we've seen influencers and we've seen other people putting out information, misinformation and disinformation. And there's been some frustration with investigators because it's not just a matter of disinformation, but it's taking people away from looking for Nancy. The investigation into Nancy Guthrie, they have to stop, they have to vet something, or they have to address misinformation that's gone out to the public. So there has been some frustration with some of the misinformation, disinformation that has gone out from some people. Because, again, investigators have to stop down what they're doing. They have to work either with their public information officer or they're fielding questions as opposed to focusing and working on the case. So it's a very good point you raise. Having so many influencers and sort of some outlets running with some information before it's vetted has taken away focus. We know that there are dozens of detectives working on this, dozens of federal agents. But again, when you have that information come out and then you have parts of your investigative team that have to stop, have to address it, they have to release, a message to the public saying this is not correct, that takes time away. And we know every second in an investigation, especially a kidnapping investigation, is vital.
Mark Santia, thank you so much for weighing in this evening and helping us make sense of all of this.